Hey guys, welcome. What I want to get into today is the difference between real estate versus trucking investment, right? These are two very lucrative industries, very lucrative businesses, right? That you can get into, but there's a major difference. For real estate, I would rather do real estate if I'm looking for a long-term investment, right? The difference between these two is with trucking. I would much rather get into trucking if I'm looking for something that's short term where I don't have to put in as much investment to begin with, right? Because real estate, I've done both. I've done real estate investing, and I've also invested into trucks, right? I'm currently investing into trucks. So I'm gonna dive deep into it. I'm gonna get into the numbers. I'm gonna get into the difference between the two, right? So let's jump right into it. And the reason being is because these are very popular topics right now. These are very popular topics. Real estate is something that everyone wants to get involved in, right? But it's a big hurdle if you're a brand new investor and you're looking to get started and you're looking and you have money set aside. But on the other side with trucking investment, it's a lower cost of entry. You don't have to have your CDLs. A lot of things that you don't really need to get involved. Both industries, there's ways that you could get into the business without much certifications and things like that. So I'll get into that. I'll get into that in another video, but in this video I really wanted to break down the numbers between the two of what I dealt with within both industries, right? So I'm gonna get into real estate first and how that works, right? So with real estate, when you're getting into real estate, right? So with real estate investing, my first encounter with real estate is when I was doing a flip property, right? So I'll break down the numbers of my flip investment, how much I had to put in, what my return was like, all the hiccups that I had to deal with within that time, right? And then I'm gonna jump right into trucking and see the breakdown, because when you look at real estate, it sounds great, it sounds good, it's great for the long term, it's great for 15 years from now, it's great for 10 years from now, right? So because of that appreciation with the property. But if you're looking for something to bring you consistent cash flow, trucking, I'll show you how trucking can really create a consistent cash flow where you could get your money on a week to week basis like this, right? Snap your fingers and the money's coming in, right? So let's look at this real estate, right? So my first real estate deal, my first real estate property, I had to I bought a flip property. The property was worth, I was purchasing a property for $60,000, right? I was purchasing a property for $60,000 using hard money, right? I had a contractor, and the contractor quoted me at $60,000. This is the price of the property. The contractor quoted me at $60,000 for the repairs. Right, for the repairs. And the ARV, what ARV is the after repair value. So after these repairs are done, how much is this property going to be worth, right? So the ARV was equal to 180,000. So on paper, it looks like 120K. I'm all in. So I'm $120,000 all in within this deal to potentially make 180K, right? That's a $60,000 flip, right? That's a flip project. So one thing that you don't that a lot of new investors don't understand when you're doing real estate is that during this process, whatever type of money you're using, you're going to have to put out a lot of money up front. You're going to have to put out, so let's say it's $120,000 all in. $120,000 all in. All right, so where's my eraser? $120,000 all in. write this up here. 180K is the ARV. All right, we'll leave that there. Year 120K all in. That's what it's supposed to be, right? That's what it's supposed to be, and I'll get into the hiccups and stuff that came across when I was dealing with this property. But 120K all in. Using hard money. Hard money lender is a lender that lends on the asset, right? So this lender lends on the money on the 180K ARV, on the money that's potentially going to be there after the property is completely fixed up, right? So with this property, 120K all in, what I have to do with the hard money loan, I'll get into hard money loans on another video. But for now, we'll just call them a loan officer that doesn't really go based off of your credit or anything like that. They just go strictly upon the property, the purchase amount, how much work is getting done to the property, and what's the ARV on the property, right? So the hard money loan, they asked for me to put down, I needed to put down, how much did I need to put down? I needed to put down 20%. 20% of this all-in value, right? So 20% of this all-in value is 24K. So I needed to come up with 24K, $24,000 in order to close on this property, in order to get that money to closing, right? So I use lines of credit, I use credit cards to pull up to get this amount of money. I didn't use my own money, but right, understand that yes, you can use credit, you can use those type of loans, but if you don't have a consistent, if you don't have a consistent cash flow coming in, whether that's your work, your job, something that you're doing on the side that's bringing in consistent cash flow, if any hiccups were to happen with this property, you're going to have to come out of your pocket and deal with that because the process has to go on. If you're taking $24,000 from business lines of credit and different areas, the way I was doing it, you still have to pay off those notes and those loans and those interest rates on a monthly basis in order to get to this finish line at 180K, right? So with this real estate deal, so I needed to bring 24K to the closing table. So how I use that 24K, I use different lines of credit, different lines of credit, different ways of getting there, right? So with that 24K, right? So it's 60 and 60 where I'm 120,000 all in, right? I needed 24,000 to close, right? So before we even get here, I'm already 24K in the hole, right? Right, because I had to put up $24,000. That money's gonna come back at closing, right? Typically, closing should be around like 9 months to 12 months or something like that for you to get in and out the project so you could resell it, right? But I'm already in the whole $24,000 to get into this deal, right? So if any hiccups happen, those $24,000, I have to put that money back in. I have to pay that out of my own pocket to keep that real estate deal coming up, right? So let's say I'm all in at $120,000. I needed $24,000 to close that property, right? And then when you're using hard money lenders, when you understand this, when you're using hard money lenders, you have to put up your own money first. You have to put up your own funds first before they would reimburse you. So the hard money lender is paying for the property. Is paying 80% of the property. So you have to put down, you have to come in with $24,000. Also, they reimburse you, right? So How do they reimburse you? They reimburse you on the construction costs. They reimburse you on the construction costs, right? So on the construction cost, like I said earlier, the construction cost was $60,000. That was the rehab. $60,000 was the rehab. $60,000 was the rehab, right? So with this $60,000, you have to put it up front. So up front. So let's say you do it in draws. So they do draws, right? So you have to come up with $20,000. Let's say they do 4 up front. They do 4 free draws. 4 free draws, no fee. So meaning what a draw is they front you the money and you request it. They send somebody out to the property to check it out, and you get that money back, right? So long story short, you get the you have to put, it's a lot of upfront costs, and you're not getting your $60,000 back, right? So you're down 24, whatever upfront costs that comes with it, with the draws, right? But you're eventually going to get that back, right? No harm, no foul. But how long is it going to take for you to close, right? So fast forward, outside of all the hiccups and everything like that, so you're trying to get $60,000 off of a $24K investment in, how long does a property take? It could take 6 to 12 months. I've had properties take longer than that. I've had properties that took 15 months, 18 months. Why? Because things go wrong in real estate. You can never predict what's going to happen within these deals, right? So it's going to take you a year to bring back 60K from this deal, right? 60K from this deal, right? A year. Let's talk about trucking now. Let's talk about trucking. It's going to take this time. You're going to have to put up $24,000. In a year, you'll get $60,000, right? So let's talk about trucking. And this is why I love trucking, right? So let's talk about trucking. So the way I do my trucking is all trucking investments. I purchase trucks, I place them with a third-party logistics company, hire the drivers, and get them on the road. I don't have to do the day-to-day work. They call me if there's any issues, but I don't have to do day-to-day work within these trucks, right? So a truck on average costs, let's say a truck is $70,000. 70K. 70K for a truck. On these trucks, you may have to put down 25%. Let's say you have to put down 25%. So what's 25% of 70K? 70 times 0.25, 17.5, right? 17.5, 17,500. That's what you would have to bring to closing on a truck, right? That is what you would have to bring to closing on the truck. And once you purchase the truck, it can immediately get on the road once you have those systems set up, once you have your drivers in place, right? On average, my truck on the minimum makes $4,000 a month. Period. It makes $4,000 on the low end. On great months, we hit $6,000, $8,000, $10,000, right? So it depends on the truck, on the driver, right? So that's $17K, $17,000, 17.5. So you got 17.5. This is what you had to put down for it, right? The truck was $70,000. $70,000 you had to put down to 25%. This is the 25% of the truck, right? But in 1 month after you put that down, and this is after all of the fees, after you're paying the driver, after everyone gets their cut, this is on the low end. This is what you can be making with the trucking industry, right? So in month 1 that your truck is on the road, you get $4,000, right? Month 2, you get $4,000, right? And this is on the low end. This is already $8,000 in 2 months. In 2 months. So we could do the math. In 4 months, you're at $16,000. You've already made your down payment back within trucking. You see the difference? Do you see the difference? So you've already made your down, this is on the low end. You've already made your down payment, your 25% that you had to put down on your truck within 4 months. Within 4 months. In real estate, before you see any profit, before you see any money, you're putting out a lot of money before you see anything. You're not seeing your income until you close on a property. And that property could take 6, 9, 12 months to a year and a half for you to close on that property. This is why I love trucking compared to that, right? Because once you have this set up, once your truck is on the road and you're making that $4,000 a month, now you can start saving that money, that extra income for the next one, right? So let's say you have 2 trucks on the road. Let's say you have 2 trucks. Let's say you have 2 trucks. Instead of that $4,000 a month, it turns into $8,000. It turns into $8,000. Now, in 2 months, you're at $16,000. In 2 months, based off of 2 trucks on the road. This is why I love trucking compared to real estate, for the short-term income return, right? For the amount of money that I put out there, I can immediately see some type of return once the truck is on the road, and it doesn't take that much time for the truck to get on the road. Like, comment, tell me your thoughts, right? Leave some questions and leave some questions down here to let me know what I did wrong, or if you have some thoughts on it, right? What do you think about the 2 things, right? So I'm gonna be giving more videos and more content on stuff like this, right? Thank you guys. Check me out next time.